This is Between the Leap and the Land. I'm Renita Joy Smith, executive coach, facilitator, and someone who has been living this work in real time. The show is about the messy middle, the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. Let's get into it. So I have had the fortune of spending a lot of time with some really smart, highly achieving people. I mean, just brilliant. And every time I do a coaching session, I send out an intention form. Like, what do you want to cover today? What's the goal of the session, right? And I would say 94.7% of the time, and yes, that is a very scientific metric, it comes back to one word: confidence. And what baffles me, and it shouldn't because I've been down that road myself several times, is that these highly, absolutely capable people will look me dead in my eyeballs and tell me they don't have it. So we definitely need to talk about this. And listen, I've done enough of these sessions and fought and battled my own demons to know that confidence is a fickle lover. It comes when it wants to, but you can indeed court confidence. You can invite it in. You can put it on like a coat. And yes, I know I'm mixing a ton of metaphors, but just walk with me. This is kind of how confidence actually works. So, the official definition of confidence is a firm belief, a trust, or assurance in yourself, your abilities, or the likelihood of a successful outcome. And the biggest thing in the definition is the confidence in yourself, not other people's confidence in you. How do you feel about you? And here's what I've seen that made me stop and really think about this differently. I've seen people that have legitimately all of the answers, all of the skills, everything on any given day that should be textbook wise equate to someone who has confidence, and they don't have it at all. Conversely, I've also seen people who do not have the skill set, the experience, nothing that would traditionally line up to equate to them having confidence, yet they are fully immersed and have and embody it all the way. So if both things can be true, someone can be confident with or without the experience or the skills, then that means we truly can decide to be confident. And that's the part most people miss. Now, I want to have a full transparent moment. I have a t-shirt, pants, cap, water bottle, and all of these things on trying to figure out how to be confident. And there are 5 mistakes that I've bumped up against and that I see my clients bumping up against that I really want to make sure we're taking time within this podcast to explore. So here are the 5 things that I see that are keeping people stuck. So let's get into it. So mistake number one, waiting for confidence to magically arrive. We think that confidence is this thing that's going to magically show up, like it's going to just come over you like the Holy Spirit on a Pentecostal Sunday. You're just going to wake up and it's like, poof, I feel confident. Spoiler alert, it won't. I have yet to wake up automatically feeling confident. Now, what I have done is wake up and decided to move about the world in a spirit of confidence, almost like putting it on like a cloak, a mental decision to embody it before I actually felt it. And because I made the mental decision to embody it, then my behavior and my actions began to show the qualities of confidence. And I think that's the biggest thing here. Confidence is a mind game. It is literally a decision. Thinking you're going to wake up one day and just be imbued by this glowing feeling, you kind of have to wake up and choose it. And choosing it before you feel it is not faking the funk. It's a practice that you are conditioning your brain to say, look, I understand the truth and the reality of how awesome I am. So let me act like I'm not starting over from scratch every single day. That I have a good chunk of the qualities that I want to have from having confidence. So let me embody what I know that I have so far and allow myself to build the rest. Number 2, mistake that I often see is not naming what you're actually looking for. And here's what it looks like. Folks will tell me, I just want to feel confident. Okay, what does it even mean? It's not actionable. How can I quantify feeling confident? Well, Bonita, I guess just, a feeling that I have. All right. But there is no actionable, tangible outcome from that. Conversely, to say, I want to feel confident in a meeting, that's closer, but we're still kind of in that feeling territory. Now, when we actually break it down, what is the action that you want to be demonstrating behind that feeling, beyond the emotion? And I'm a big emotion girl, but being able to complete that sentence with more of an action oriented outcome changes everything. I'll feel confident when I can state my opinion in a meeting versus holding it back. That is something I can actually go do. That is where I can have the practice to go say, did I do the thing? Did I actually speak up in the meeting instead of holding back on it? So my action plan for myself becomes speaking up more in the meeting when I have something to say. So if you can't fill in the blank with a tangible, actionable behavior or outcome, you set a finish line that you'll never see yourself cross because it's too ambiguous. So being able to define for yourself the full sentence, because just saying I want to feel confident is not a destination. It's just a direction without a map. Mistake number 3, waiting for permission from an external force. So we are often waiting for someone to give us feedback, for someone to give us validation, for some type of approval that will give us the permission to be confident. Because somewhere in our brains, our inner critic has told us that I can't be confident just because I said so. It has to be validated by someone else to allow it to be. And I want to say this as lovingly as possible. Quiet as it's kept, most folks are still trying to figure out themselves, let alone knowing what to tell you. And that's if they're telling you the right thing. So we're out here doing all these chess moves, waiting on someone to say, good job, or that's how you do it. And the reality is you might be waiting on someone who doesn't even have it figured out for themselves. The assurance has to start with you. Going back to that definition, confidence is a level of assurance in yourself and your abilities, not theirs in you, yours in you. Now, if additional feedback comes, great. But if not, you still have to be grounded in what you're able to do. And that means giving yourself the permission to go figure some things out without waiting for someone else to co-sign it. Mistake number 4, having no picture of who you'd be on the other side. And this is where people can get stuck in a loop, not having a really clear vision of what you'd actually like to be on the other side of all this. So once you are confident, what are you looking like? How are you walking? How are you moving through the world? How are you talking? What is your stance like? If I was to look at you on a Tuesday, catching you out in the wild, what would I visibly see you doing that embodied the essence of confidence that you're chasing? Because if confidence showed up tomorrow, magic wand, fairy godmother, the whole lot, and you can't tangibly describe what would actually change, you are chasing a ghost. But when we can narrow this down to a behavior, an action, even a state of being, now we have something tangible to work with. So for example, me being confident in my writing, been trying to post more, wanting to be giving my thoughts out into the world, etc. That's demonstrated by me posting 3 times a week. With a little less filter, a little less edited. That's me walking out confidence. And now I can measure it. If I'm not posting 3 times a week, where am I having gaps, either in my skills or in how I'm thinking about my skills or my process or how I see myself as a writer? That's where I can begin to diagnose what's missing or what I may need to be telling myself the truth in and stop gaslighting myself. So I can decide that I'm the person who posts 3 times a week. And then through some discipline and some behavioral change, hopefully, go push that button 3 times a week. Now, that won't be without me feeling a way about it. feeling crunchy, still having some self-doubt in there, but being in that state of, did I post the right thing? Is that the right thing to say? All of that still comes with it, but you're doing the thing. You have something measurable on the outside of this, and you get to learn by doing and learn by experiencing. So to know that on the other side of this confidence that I'm envisioning for myself as a person who is demonstrating her work and putting it out into the world, have a vision I can tangibly hold on to and gravitate towards. Mistake number 5, and this one is the biggest one of them all. It's confusing confidence with knowing the answer. So much of our lives, from elementary school to middle school to high school to college, we were groomed on knowing the right answer. The answer to the test, the answer to the essay, being able to know what the next step is supposed to be. And then you layer on top of that these aspects of perfectionism. You can quickly begin to understand how we got to, if I don't know the answer, that means I'm not confident. I'm putting all of my confidence in knowing everything and in being completely knowledgeable. And here's a sand trap waiting to happen. As people get into newer roles, new technologies are emerging, new processes they're having to learn, the confidence dropped. The confidence drops because it was hooked to having the answer and knowing all of the things. And so it becomes, well, I'm not confident because I don't know this domain. I don't know this answer. So being able to hook our confidence to the right place is the trick here. Instead of placing confidence on what I don't know, placing confidence on having the ability to know. So that's the trick. Confidence is misplaced. It's placed on the ability to know and have the answer. But here's what I know. You figured out your last role. You figured out the last process. You figured out the last technology. You figured out the last 15 curveballs thrown at you. And you have never not figured it out. So instead of saying, I'm confident because I know the answers to this test or how to solve this problem, what if it was, I'm confident in my ability to figure it out? That I can tap into the right resources, the right people, the right thought processes to get to a better answer. I trust me and my skills to be able to figure things out. That is my level of self assurance that gives me confidence. I know for myself, the moment where I shifted, especially when I was in consulting, shifted from knowing the answer to trusting myself to go ask the right questions, to go talk to the right people, to go research and to trust my own critical thinking skills. That is when so much of the pressure began to release on myself because I was confident in my ability to problem solve. And so, regardless of the variables that went into the problem that I had to solve, I had built up enough experience over 20 plus years to trust that I could figure some shit out. And that's where I place my confidence. And what I have found is that is a solid place to put your confidence. It's not out there with the right answer, the right move, the right something. What is out there is the trust that you will learn and be able to figure it out. And placing your confidence there, that will take you so much further than having an answer ever will. Okay. We consistently hear that confidence is built, and that's true. But I think being able to understand how you build confidence is also knowing you have to have a foundation to build on. You don't start at zero. If I'm starting off at a level 2 of confidence, like, you know what? I do know a lot about this topic. I'm going to add on it through some reps, through experience, going back to the 3 posts a week. My confidence here is I know I have the ability to have great thoughts. Now I'm building the reps, writing frameworks, trying out new stuff, adding on. That's building confidence over time. But we have to inherently have a firm belief that we are starting off with something, not starting off in a net negative. And I think that's honestly what a lot of us are doing consistently. We just have amnesia about all of the skills and capabilities and experience we have built over decades. And that is a fallacy. If you had the confidence you're looking for right now, I had a magic wand, I'm your fairy godmother, and I'm giving it to you. How would you substantially move, act, think, and feel differently? Take a moment to really think about that. What vision comes to your mind? And if that can be a vivid picture for you, you are also allowed to and have the permission to start acting that way right now. But Renita, I don't have the experience. But Renita, I'm still not. But Renita, I'm still. I understand. And again, and I know that's frustrating to hear. I fought this for many a moon. I'm like, no, this has to be something I can just like go and do without my mind having to catch up. And I'm sorry, it is a mind thing. To be able to get your mindset aligned to a place where you're able to hold both. I can practice these behaviors of confidence and also let my inner critic be a little bit chirpy in there and also be nervous about it and also be frustrated and also be scared while also practicing confidence. It all goes together. So here's the experiment I give you. I encourage you to flip the switch and decide you want to be confident like right now. And if you just act it like that for the next 24 hours, what would that version of yourself do? How would you show up differently? Doing that experiment alone will unlock so much for you. And if 24 hours is too much, I like to call them confidence sprints. Do it for the next hour. I'm going to be the version of myself that's super confident. And then you take it off and you see what happens. Because that gives your nervous system time to line up. It gives you data on what it actually feels like to move through the world that way. And you might find that the confident version of yourself was in there the whole time. Confidence was just waiting to be invited in. That's the practice. Go do it and be brilliant. If this one landed for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you next time, somewhere between the leap and the land.